much your hourglass of how much time you have to develop to make it to the big league. So if you're a guy that they invest a lot of money in, you pretty much on the chopping block every year. Pretty much sometimes it's unfortunate, no matter what you do, it's already predetermined. You're going to be released at the end of the season. Just like 2005, I was an all-star again and led the whole Cleveland farm system in saves. I had 25 saves that year, and the next year in spring training, 06, I went 8 scoreless in spring training, then I get released. And so that type of stuff is hard, and it makes you lean more on God, and it makes you a little bit more relentless and persevere, because that's how bad you want it. And it get tested. Like I was tested, like, do I keep doing this? Or, hey, you got a 4-year degree. You don't have to do this. But I was so passionate about it, and I believed in my skills. So I didn't stop until, well, it was 2010. I just got tired of the business side of it. I couldn't withstand that struggle. And on the field, I was actually still in great shape and pitching well. I just couldn't handle the non-baseball, the baseball business side. That's what the challenging part. But the journey, as I look back on it, I went through all that not for me, it was for somebody else. And these players that I'm able to impact today, that be on my roster or is in the organization. Like, for example, last night, I don't mention this to many people, but I have a good relationship with Gift Ngope. And Gift was the first African to make it to the major leagues this past year. And, like, I'm still in touch with him. He's now with the Toronto Blue Jays. And, like, just opportunities like that, I get to share experiences of my knowledge of what I'm learning and experiences, so I can give back to these players and help them kind of have a better understanding of what they're going through in that moment, unlike I did when I was going through it.
Yeah, and I think if you have somebody that's been there before and that's already experienced it, I think that's awesome. I mean, that's really what it's about, is reaching back into those guys that need that help. Because in sports, it seems like, especially in the NFL, when you got quarterbacks, they're not going to try to talk to their backup, the guy that could possibly be taking their spot. They're not gonna tell him anything. So I think to be able to have that mentality, I think is great, especially in where you are now.
Yeah, I mean, even me, I'm always, like, for example, now with Team France, I'm pretty much over all of the baseball and development in France, because they've instilled that much trust in me. So I'm constantly trying to train not only players, but now I'm training staff and coaches and trying to help them hone their craft of being leaders. And I always tell guys, man, like, it's very vital, the information you give back to these players, because you can either lead them in the wrong direction or the right direction. But I'd rather if you don't know, don't fake like you know what you're talking about. You don't, because players see it, and that's when you lose credibility. Be transparent with the players, build a connection with them, and just teach the game, teach the fundamentals of the game. Because a lot of times now, and it makes me sad, even at the amateur level, everything is performance-based, like it's in the big leagues. And they're treating it like it's the big leagues. I'm like, these are kids, man. Let them enjoy their childhood days. Yes, teach them how to compete, but don't. As a coach, you can't just, I'm not gonna play Johnny because he went out and struck it out 3 times. Like, come on, man, really? Is really that you making that much money, or it's that important to you? You gonna hinder this kid development because of you want to win? Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think a lot of things there's a lot of pressure. I knew growing up, I was playing baseball. My dream was to play Major League Baseball. But when I got up to high school, I was like, these dudes is throwing 90 miles an hour. I'm like barely in the batting cage hitting 30 or 40. So at that point, I was like, I'm a step back. But you got to think of the pressure. A lot of these kids come out of high school, which I'm curious, and what's kind of the span from the time you come out of high school to the time or if you get drafted out of high school to making it to the pros? What's the normal span of time that normally takes?
It depends on the depth of the organization at the time you draft it. But you're definitely going to start off with rookie ball. And rookie ball is the first level in minor league baseball. And you're going to start there. And if you're successful there, and if you show that you're advanced for that level, then your first full season, you may start in low A. And you be with a lot of older guys. You be 18, 19 years old in low A, where that's where a lot of your college guys or guys that's been in pro ball, like the Latin guys have been in pro ball for 3-4 years already. You're going to start off at that level at the first full season. That's kind of a fast track. For example, like Zach Greinke. He's a guy that I started off with. He was a high school drafted, pitched well in rookie ball, and then they did something abnormal. They sent him to high A for the playoffs of that same year in 2002, and then we go to spring training in 2003. He was in big league camp, and then he started the year off in high A, and he was phenomenal. He went 11-1 with a 1-something ERA by the All-Star break. And matter of fact, when I got a promotion that same year. I went to the All-Star game, and I was on the All-Star team with Prince and Nelson Cruz. I went up, and when Greggo went up to Double A, I went up to high and took his spot. So a high school kid being in Double A a year after he got drafted is very abnormal. But pretty much, if let's say the regular route, you go GCL, and then you got short season A, they'll be in that the second year, which that's the level I'll be managing this year. And then if they develop, then by their third year they'll start low A. So if you look at anywhere from 3 to 5 or 6 years, a guy out of high school, you take Josh Bell, who's from the Dallas area. He made it to the major leagues in 2016, and he was drafted in I forgot the exact year. I want to say 2011. He signed. 2000. He was 23 when he made it to the major leagues, and he did a position change later in his years in the minors. He went from outfield to first base. So it depends on the guy, and depends on the needs of the organization and what if they put you on a fast track or they try to take things slow. It depends on the guy.
Yeah. I think that's a grind. There's no in the NFL when you get drafted from college, you get your opportunity right then. And in Major League Baseball, you may not ever see the pros. There's a guy here pitching in Dallas. I think Andrew Bivens Dirk is his name. He spent, I think, 20-something years in the minors, and then he finally got his shot with the Rangers, and he's here now. So it's definitely a grind. It's definitely a process. And once again, we're talking to Kieran Mattison. He's a coach of the French men's national team baseball. Also,
it's pronounced Kieran, man.
Kieran, sorry.
Yeah, you good? You good? I ain't want to leave you out there like that. Just
Kieran. Yeah,
try to hit you out.
Yeah. I figured I was probably gonna get that wrong, even though I've known you for a while.
Sounds good.
Barry Bonds.
I'm used to
it. Barry Bonds. Do you see him ever making it to the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, he will make it. There's no way they can deny what he did. Not only for his individual career, but just the notoriety and the excitement he brought to the game when he was chasing history and breaking those home run records, man. And and then also he went and coached in the big leagues with the Marlins in 2015. So I believe they're gonna give him a shot, and I think they should, because not one time have he failed a drug test. Like, it's not no record where he failed a drug test. All you have is speculation. And if you go through our system, every man is innocent until proven guilty, correct?
Right. It's supposed to be.
So, yeah. So I don't understand why they try to create their own laws and rules when it comes to this. And for me, even on the situation, you still, no matter what you're taking, if you took something, you still have to go out there on that field and perform. And it's not easy. So it's like I believe though all those guys, if they went out there and performed and they put in the work, they should be allowed. Now when you go and do things as far as betting against your team and stuff like that, I believe that should serve as a penalty. But at the same time, like what Barry did for the game and his record still stands today, he should be in the Hall of Fame. I remember a buddy of mine I coached with, his name was Tom Goodwin. We coached in 2007 together, my first job coaching in pro ball. Was independent league out in Louisville. And he said he played with Barry the year the Giants went to the World Series and they lost to the Angels. And he said that whole season, now you talking about over 1,500 to 3,000 at bats. He said not one at bat he was out on his front foot being fooled by a pitch that whole season. You know how hard, Ben, that's extremely hard to do, where you go up there every plate appearance and not get fooled and be out on your front foot. So that right there is probably the most awesomest things I ever heard about Barry, as far as knowing how hard that is to do, to go through a whole major league season facing the top pitchers and not get fooled on a pitch, because that's how locked in he was, and that's how clear he saw the baseball. And it's evident. That's why he went out and hit that many home runs that one year. Yeah,
I mean, to me, he's done enough to get in, and I think a lot of it is writers didn't like Barry. There was plenty of times growing up in California, people would say, "Well, I didn't like the way he responded to my question." That doesn't mean he's not a Hall of Famer. That doesn't mean that he put up numbers. And that numbers at the end of the day is what get you in the Hall of Fame.
It's like this: is the Hall of Fame a popularity contest, or it's what you did on the field, and you didn't go out there and embarrass an organization or your family or anybody. If you didn't do those things, you qualify to be a Hall of Famer. And he wasn't in the news for all kinds of mess off the field, so I agree. Like, what's the reason? But like I said, in due time, he'll get in, because his votes are getting higher every year. And I think when those guys that are in charge of voting, sometimes they don't live forever. So, and I feel like when the
True.
Younger generation, when there's a changeover and who's decide who gets in or not, I believe the new wave of people will be for allowing those guys to enter the Hall of Fame, which rightfully so.
Yeah. All right, so before I let you go, once again, we're talking to Kieran Mattison, coach of the French national baseball team, also coach in the Pittsburgh Pirates minor league. Who's your pick for the Super Bowl? Super Bowl's tomorrow. I'm not going for either team, but I am asking everybody who's their pick.
Well, you know me, I'm a diehard Cowboy fan. Yeah. We had an upside down season, but it is what it is. But for me, if Carson Wentz wasn't out, I would say Eagles. But you can't ever bet against Belichick and the GOAT. Like those two brilliant minds, man. This is what I saw last year the way they came back and beat the Falcons, being down 25 points. You can't vote against that. And I watched this 30 for 30 on Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick the other night, and this dude, Bill Belichick, is just brilliant. I mean, this would be like they talking about, he have a shot to win his sixth Super Bowl ring as a head coach, but he already got 8. I mean, he got 7 already. He got 2 as a defensive coordinator and 5 as a head coach. So Peterson hadn't been there before, you know.
Right.
And those coaches with a lot of those coaches with the Eagles haven't been there before. So I'm gonna look at it from a coaching perspective. And I know Eagles have a strong thing going, but no matter if the Eagles go up, we all know you can't ever count Tom Brady and them out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that people have to understand. This is still Tom Brady. This is still Belichick. He's done it so many different times